It's nice to be here in central Japan. We're at the Ibaraki Prefecture for round 2 of the Hololive GT3 Japan series for the 2023 season. We apologize if we have to modify much of the schedule because there has been a lot of volatility in my own schedules. But here we are at Tsukuba. Let's talk about the track maps right here, right now. And here is the track map for Tsukuba. Track length total of 2 kilometers in length, 12 corners in total. We're going to be racing for 98 laps. Well, we're going to check if we're going to be racing for 98 laps because I think we're going to be racing for 98 laps here at Tsukuba. We're looking at lap time targets of a 55.692. Remember, this is a very short circuit. This is like the Suzuka short track that we raced in the 2022 season. It's a split round, as will be the next 2 rounds of the season, which culminates in a split season finale at Sepang in August. It's currently Hololive GT3 is current shortest circuit by just about 50 meters, and is also the home of Best Motoring. So if you're a fan of Best Motoring, you should be very familiar with this racetrack. Now, speaking of which, let's talk about some of the, how do we say this? Let's see if we got the new faces here in the field, because I think I got the wrong image. But anyways, let's take a look into hang on, I'm just gonna need to check if our images are available. There it is. So let's I think we should be able to show with you the new drivers that will be participating in this race, how do you say this? The current round of the 2023 Hololive GT3 Japan Series season. Here are your faces. We're going to be seeing 7 new drivers in the 7 cars that will be racing in Split A. Rim Olgor for Yozora Subaru. We have Michael Turner for Shirogane Noel, Kaminari Riba from Omar Polka, Seri Kayuma for Lapis Darkness. Robert Kurwisha will be racing for Takane Louis this round onwards, as does Ri Liu for Sakamata Chloe, and Griffin Wheatley for Kazama Iroha. And with that out of the way, let's take a look back into the championship order. Obviously, we haven't properly updated this yet, so you'll be seeing some older names, but let's take a look into who leads the standings. Daniel Bauer representing Yozora Mel won after beating Shazren Redza due to traffic. Shazren Redza was a bit unhappy with how Christoph Salmerman raced him, thinking that there hasn't been much teamwork. And then there's Cal Gibbons finishing second, who also picked Shazren Redza off the line in the finish. And then we have some few standard performers there in round 1. It's Sakaji Mikoto in his first race for Hololive GT3, as does John Mead. They are finishing inside the top 5. And then the Subaru car, Rim Olga, will continue Hans-Henrik Heinz's efforts in 6th. Miyamoto in the 7th will look to find a way into the top 5. Continuing on Alexis Bowen and Carolina Vieira de Silva's work, Michael Turner will try to also bring the Noel car inside the top 5. Christoph Salmerman will also want to try to have a good result for Aski. Jasinski will try to get a good result as well. And then we also want to take a look at the guys at the top 15. These guys may surprise you coming into this race. But looking into the bottom of the standings, a crazy development for Hofu Mi, because he crashed out of round 1 in Fuji. Well, spun out actually. Let's see if we can bounce back in round 2, which is this round here in Tsukuba. By the way, this race is the Tsukuba 400. Just wanted to remind you guys of that. Anyways, as we're about to get this qualifying session underway, I would like to introduce to you all the commentary booth coming into this race. I'm Shazren Redza in the commentary booth, and alongside me is Zeke Wimberly alongside me. And so Zeke, coming into this short track here in Tsukuba, I want to hear your thoughts.
It's been quite a while since we've done a Hololive GT3 race so far, so it's nice to go back to the roots, see just an overall very nice race with different cars this time.
Well, just wanting to remind you all that we do have Formula Hololive, which has the cars based off the new bright uniforms that made its debut on the 2023 Fourth Festival, the Hololive 4 Festival. These cars are based on the Non-Stop Stories' idol uniforms that had been in use since 2020. So obviously these cars have history in it and have prestige. And speaking of prestige, let's take a look into some of the new drivers coming out of the pits, dropping Wheatley representing Kazama Iroha. So Z, as a teammate to him, what do you think is his odds?
So far Holux has been underperforming, but last race at least for the Formula Hololive, Rilu for the Sakamoto Chloe car has been doing quite well, so he could definitely be a hunter on the prowl.
So just wanted to take a look into some of the guys who have yet to start their lap. So we're just gonna go on board. Let's see, Wawan Suharto. So Wawan Suharto, current driver for Shiranui Flare in the number 20 Nissan. Let's take a look on board into his car coming into this lap. So here's Wawan Suharto coming to third one. Has this uphill crest down into third one, so you want to shift down to second gear to get the car rotated. Watch out for the braking zone into turn one. And then we have the flick turns 2 and 3. You might have to brake in the middle of turn 3 to slow yourself down for turn 4. Oh, it takes a lot of curve there. And then coming into the second sector there, turn 5 and 6. I think 6, 7, 8, whatever. And then coming into the 9, 10, and 11. You slow down into the second, actually first gear for Wawan Suharto. And then exiting turn 11. Coming into the second sector timing beam. Fastest time is 45.461. Wawan Suharto is only, wow, only 900ths of a second back. And coming into the long right-hander turn 11 to complete the lap. Here's Wawan Suharto setting the second fastest lap time.
Very good stuff coming from Wawan Suharto at the moment, as others start to finish their lap time. Mead in 4th, Wheatley managed to score 6th. The qualifying is still underway, so we should be seeing that leaderboard shift quite a little bit.
And so currently breaking the lap time targets here, Shazren Redza with a 55.514 sub-minute lap time is definitely possible here in Tsukuba. Ryu for Sakamoto Chloe is looking to not be on pace, because look at that first sector time, only 0.8 of a second slower. So that's not going to look good for Ryu. And then also, let's take a look into Makoto Miyamoto, because currently, and actually no, Callum Gibbons and Fumi make it a Gen 0 front row, with the Roboco car up front and the Tokinosora car second.
Well, it does appear that Fumi wasn't too pleased after crashing out last round and scoring no points, so they're hoping to at least make it up this round, which is going to be quite nice to see. And as I'm seeing right here, Rilu scored 13, Bauer 4th. I'm starting to lose a little bit of track.
More drivers saying that lap times is normal to have stuff like this happening, and Raji Kaczynski currently sets the 4th fastest lap time. Traffic is going to be extremely big, and if you get caught up on the wrong place at the wrong time, then you're not going to be gaining a lot of lap time, as you're going to get stuck behind traffic. As it stands, all 18 cars have currently set their lap times. Let's take a look at Christoph Salomon. Christoph Salomon wasn't able to qualify his ASCII Honda in the previous round at Fuji due to some issues with the car. But after starting at the back, he went for the aggressive overcut strategy, blocking Shazren Redza in the process, which actually denied him to win. But on his own, he managed to qualify and managed to finish inside the top 10 after starting last. So Salomon, a new car, new face in the series, and speaking of new faces, ASCII with the new corset top for her NSX idle uniform is the reason why Salomon is driving the ASCII Honda. Salomon is really showing up.
Currently scoring a 55.935 on their current lap, which is pretty alright. Decently solid, but doesn't improve his lap time by much. Looking at the leaderboards, nothing is shuffling, and currently last place is around a full almost 2 seconds behind the main lap time, so they might want to hustle and bustle.
Which is a bit of a shame. Anyways, let's take a look into the current guys inside the standings. Anyways, currently on the front row, we have a Gen 0 front row lockout with Callum Gibbons on pole position and Hofumi in second place. Now, Callum Gibbons have been a serious powerhouse this season so far. Second place last round at Fuji. Won the Fuji round for Formula Hololive for Split A, and then last week at Autopolis, he managed to finish in outside the podium positions in second place. So Cal Gibbons is currently a very hot driver coming in with a hot form coming into this round. So Cal Gibbons showing up once again with what should be a pole position unless someone is able to contest his lap time. So Cal Gibbons is your definite favorites to win this race and maybe retake the lead of the championship.
That would be pretty nice to see. And while I'm at it, I should mention that it's a pure Hololux back of the line lockout with the Kazama Aroha car and Hakui Koyori car at the back. So Hololux definitely underperformed.
Well, we have 3 of the 5 Hololux cars occupying the back 3 spots. Another Hololux car of Roboco is currently in 13th place. And looking into the other car, yes, Sergei Kayumov is in 12th place, and yes, we have the trend of Hololux cars not performing as expected continues into this round. As you can see here, all 5 Hololux cars are outside the top 10, so it's a bit of a shame so far.
It's a little bit embarrassing. Buff Hololux, please.
Anyways, we're gonna just do a slight intermission to change the shift the play. So anyways, let's take a look back into the qualifying session here. 7 minutes to go in this session. Looking into some few guys who have already coming into the pits, like John Mead, because John Mead have just gone into the pits for some new fresh rubber. What do you think? Do you think the drivers can go faster?
We have a solid 7 minutes, so I think that there is a good chance that someone might improve on their lap time, but for now, everything's semi-set in stone.
Well, currently Daniel Bauer is only like 200ths off of Sector 2, and coming to Sector 3, will he improve? Yes, he does. Daniel Bauer, the most recent winner in Split A, has currently put his Lexus car on the front row, so very good job for Daniel Bauer. And as you said, there is a ramping up of speed coming into the end of the session, so there may be some surprises coming into this end of this qualifying session.
Yep, as we just saw there, it can only take maybe a minute for the leaderboard to shuffle up a little bit, so that's always nice to see.
Anyways, we also wanted to confirm back, Fumi has stolen back second place from Daniel Bauer with his lap, as his lap time is only like 15 tenths of a second, 15 hundredths of a second behind Cal Gibbons. So Fumi is really wanting to show his championship caliber driving skills for Tokyo Sora.
Yeah, just an overall very consistent car to be just used, because they again won the championship, and even now it's still performing miracles. So yeah, the Tokunosora car is a force to be reckoned with.
And speaking of surprises, here's a car inside 7th place, Sergei Kayumov for Lapless Darkness. One of the Hololux cars have pierced inside the top 10.
Do us proud, Kayumov.
And meanwhile, as currently, usually in my experience racing these cars, if you are quite slow in qualifying, you can try to make it up with a race by trying to ace your strategy. And that strategy is pretty much undetermined on what type of strategy that you can go for. You can probably go for an undercut or an overcut strategy, but I feel like the undercut strategy should be the way to go, because of course it's a bit cloudy here in Tsukuba, and you can see Voluntar waiting right to come to the pits. As you can see here, you might want to go for an undercut strategy, because you can see here it's a very short track and overtaking is quite difficult here. So, but it is possible, it's just harder than usual. So you might want to try your luck to make up for lost ground in terms of like strategy and getting yourself some clean air.
Alright.
And as you can see here, Shazren Redza is absolutely being messed up by Daniel Bauer there, who just got out of the pit, but that won't be too much of a problem. And as you can see here, Itsukaichi Mikolev for Sakura Miko gets up inside 7th.
Big shot from right there. I think that came from somewhere around 13th, if I'm not mistaken, which I probably am. Anyway, currently Zeke Wimberly is 2 seconds behind the ideal lap time, so not looking very good for him happening.
Ending the first sector, he's actually quite off there, 1.4 seconds. So obviously, all he's doing at the moment, I think, if he's not going to set very good lap times, at the very least, he should be able to log in some very valuable information. And as you can see here, in each of these cars, in these racing cars, there has to be some form of telemetry where they basically record data in terms of like speed, the bumping and all that stuff, the steering, the throttle inputs, the brake inputs. So maybe coming into this race, the engineers can try to make a good setup for him coming into this race. As you can see here, this last lap was at 2.8 seconds off, so he might be at risk of being lapped. So that's one thing.
Lapped cars could definitely be a problem with the small track, and they can be even more of a problem because, as you said earlier, it's hard to overtake on this.
So with basically a hard to overtake scenario here in Tsukuba, and looking into the track, I think almost all cars are inside the racetrack with the exception of Raji Kaczynski, who just peeled into the pits, as well as Michael Turner. Let's take a look back into a few guys who are currently outside the top 10 despite having some pretty decent performances in Formula Hololive. Now, this is Rim Olgo's first race in the Hololive GT3, as well as a couple other drivers that we have mentioned earlier, like for example, Ryu, Kaminari Reba, and then Rim Olgo, Michael Turner, all that stuff. We've got these guys who are still trying to adjust themselves to GT3 machinery. But looking into a few new guys who did manage to surprise a few guys is currently maybe actually the best one out of so far is Rim Olgor. Rim Olgor is currently one of the 7 new drivers in this Hololive GT3. But currently on his first Hololive GT3 car, and he's currently the best one so far.
And did overall do an amazing job in Formula Hololive, so I'm expecting to see a good show from Rim Olgor.
So looking into the final few minutes of qualifying here we have Kofumi and Christoph Salomon. Salomon is looking to do very good there. He's currently inside the top 10 for ASCII. Now, let's talk about ASCII a bit more, especially coming into this 2023 season. Now, in late November, ASCII. Okay, but never mind that. Actually, Rim Olgor have actually surprised everyone. Actually, we did mention that he's the best one out of the field so far, and right now he has managed to steal second.
I said this before. I was expecting a good show, and I'm seeing a good show. Good job, Rim Olgor.
Anyways, we're gonna talk about ASCII later now because I actually wanted to show with you a trend about the Yozora Subaru drivers in Hololive GT3. We have 4 drivers who have driven this car since 2022. Count Gibbens won at Fuji, and then after that was replaced by Orihara Izaya for round 5 of the regular season. And Orihara Izaya actually managed to win a race for Yozora Subaru. And then coming into the final 2 rounds of the regular season, then Izaya was replaced by Hans Heinrich Heinz, who also managed to win a race at Suzuka. So right now, Rim Olgor is continuing the trend that has been a trend for Yozora Subaru drivers of actually winning a race. So I think the car in itself is very competitive.
Just an overall very fierce car. I've seen multiple amazing overtakes, even one that went last lap, finish line right there. It's just an overall amazing. It's a beast.
Yeah, it's a beast, and I think this is very much reflective of Yozora Subaru's talent as an idol. So obviously, Yozora Subaru frags to riches, if you want to call him that. She is basically referred to herself as a girl with nothing to offer much, but here on the VTubers' biggest stage, Subaru manages to get herself into a position where she could definitely make people smile with her performances, and is also very similar here in Hololive GT3, where the Yozora Subaru car actually is one of the few cars to be reckoned with here in this racing series.
It's just it always brings a smile to my face when the Subaru car just absolutely demolishes everything in its path. It's just an absolute predator. I love it.
Anyways, with the qualifying session over, let's take a look into the starting lineup for the Tsukuba 400 here in Hololive GT3, at least for the Split A race. Callum Gibbens currently scores another pole position of his career in the Roboco Lexus. He currently starts on pole. Rim Olgor looks to try to steal the lead from Callum Gibbens coming into turn 1. Let's see if he can try to steal the race lead from lap 1 or any other point in this race. Hopefully finally gets his championship aspirations underway with a P3 starting position. Daniel Bauer, representing Yozora Mel, will start 4th. Actually, there's a new logo on the hood. Watch out for that one too. For Daniel Bauer, hopefully representing Yozora, starts 3rd. Shazren Redza is looking to try to continue his good run in each of these series inside the top 5. He qualifies 5th for Himemori Luna. Raja Kaczynski, 6th place for Yuzuki Choko, starts in 6th with a 55.525. Makoto Miyamoto starts 7th in the Tsunamaki Watame Lexus for, Tsunamaki Watame, of course. Sakaji Miko P for Sakura Miko will start 8th here in Tsukuba. Suri Kayumov qualifies 9th in the Laplace Darkness Nissan. Laplace, very good dancer. Suri Kayumov dances well on the racetrack. John Mee rounds out the top 10 actually after bumping a few other drivers and managing to stay inside the top 10. John Mee qualifies in 10. So Z, let's take a look into the rest of the drivers.
Oh shoot, I'm supposed to do. Christoph Sellerman, overall very solid driver, managed to land himself into 11th in the ASCII car. And then Wanwan Soharto and Shiranoi Flare car managed to score 12th, which is a respectable position. Michael Turner in the Shirogain Ol car, all hustle, all muscle, managed to score 13th. Robert Carisha in the Takenoi car, second best Holix car, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, which I probably am.
Okay,
managed to score 14th.
Yeah.
Katanari Reba, in the Amaru Polka car, if I'm not mistaken, rounding up the top 15 within the points. Rilu showing that don't really have the pace in Holo GT3, scoring 16th, and then Gruffin Wheatley 17th, and then Zeke Wimberly in last.
Well, it's just a bit of a shame here right now because looking at the Holux cars, only one of them inside the top 10. Let's see if the fates can be turned around coming into this race. So we're gonna get this race underway finally here in Tsukuba here. We got 18 cars lining up on the grid. We're gonna get this race underway here. 6 red lights are on here in Tsukuba at the start of the Split A race of the Tsukuba 400, and we're gonna get this race underway. 98 laps of Tsukuba underway. All cars getting up very well there. No crashes so far. Everyone is looking very well into turn 1 and looking into a few position changes there. No changes so far. You can see here August trying to defend second place from Daniel Bauer there. He hasn't had the best starts of the race so far. And you can see Bauer actually jumps up a few other drivers. He started 4th. He's now up to 3rd. Shazren Redza also manages to actually stay inside. Actually, no, he has actually dropped down a few positions. He's now dropped down to 6th. Kaczynski and Fumi are not properly credited inside the standings here. So let's take a look into the alternate timetable here. Here we can see here Daniel Bauer in 4th place, Fumi 3rd. Actually, there has been a change, and now we get to see a proper standings here. So here we can give you a rundown on who's leading. Gibbons leads, Olgor 2nd, Bauer 3rd, Fumi 4th, Shazren Redza rounds out the top 5, Mikolev up to 6th, Miyamoto 7th, and I think there has been a bit of a jostling for position there. I think someone has crashed. Because I can see that someone is someone is not properly credited inside the standings here. So we still have 18 cars lining up on the grid. Here we have Miyamoto 7th, Meat 8th, Michael Turner 9th, and Crystal Salmon jumps up into the top 10.
And meanwhile, there's currently nothing going on right now, but there is a couple of gaps that are just barely. I'm seeing fighting between Wimberley and Wheatley right now going on in the timetable. They're just about. I lost track. Okay.
But anyways, Wheatley manages to get ahead of Zeke Wimberley in the silver spoon positions. They're currently 16th and actually no 17th and 18th respectively, because I think there has been someone who is not properly credited. We'll need to see who is not properly credited. Yeah, Raijin Kaczynski is not properly credited, so apologies here, because Raijin is actually in 5th, Shazren Redza 6th, Mikolev 7th, Miyamoto 8th, Mead 9th, and Michael Turner is inside 10th. So as it stands right now, Ri Liu, Griffin Wheatley, and Zeke Wimberley, all 3 Hololive cars are outside points.
I've said this so many times, and I'm gonna say it again. Hololive is underperforming.
Well, we're beating around the bush on that one. So with the race finally calming down onto this early stages of this race, let's talk about Crystal Salomon representing ASCII in this number 12 Honda. So as we mentioned before, while this one was disrupted, we had this moment where ASCII has undergone another visual update, this time changing illustrators from Komizuki to Scotty. And obviously Scotty is a talented artist and illustrator, providing a good design for ASCII. Props to Scotty for giving ASCII a good design and outfit. And as a result of this massive shift on the design and the art style for ASCII, as well as and as you can see here, actually, Michael Turner is actually looking to try to overtake John Mead, but John Mead actually manages to hold on. Mead manages to hold on to 9th place. Back to Salmon and ASCII. ASCII, with her move into Hololive full time, and her getting a full redesign from Scotty, I believe that there will be a shift in idle uniform, but not to this extent, because ASCII have went from a black vest top to a white corset top. That change alone would warrant a change in car manufacturers. While previously the ASCII car was a Nissan in the 2022 season, in the 2023 season, the ASCII car is now a Honda. And now with also a new driver coming into this race, and Crystal Salomon replacing Andrew Taco's lead, I believe there's a lot of hope for this run.
And they do have quite big shoes to fill, as Andrew's Taco's lead was absolutely amazing within the ASCII Nissan back in the day. Just, like, he went, I think, from like around like last place to like just full out blitzing across the leaderboards. It was just an absolute spectacle.
Well, back to Andrew Taco's lead. Now, Andrew Taco's lead had been a very amazing driver so far. Because now Gibbons fast lap 55.518. He's absolutely pulling away from Rim Olgor. The gap is now 2.6 seconds. Now back into the talk of Andrew Taco's lead. Taco's lead actually was pretty milquetoast in the regular season, but has definitely shined in the postseason, culminating in a podium finish at Okayama in the 2022 season finale, where Roboco was declared the champion. And at that race, Lorenzo Ricci was racing for Hoshimachi Suisei, and Andrew Taco was driving for ASCII in the Nissan. So it was a Nissan podium lockout and a Gen 0 podium lockout as well. Of course, it's 3 out of 5, but there's only like 3 spots on the podium, so that's that. So anyways, Crystal Salomon is looking for a way past Michael Turner. Michael Turner hasn't been the fastest driver out there, and now Crystal Salomon is going to try to dive down the inside into the final corner here in Tsukuba. Crystal Salomon is hanging around the inside, see if he can bring his momentum. But Michael Turner has the better exit of the final corner. Salomon still has the inside line heading into turn 1.
It's going to be a real struggle to defend right now, as it's just a struggle. Oh wait, hold on. Wimberley and Wheatley were fighting, or at least are fighting right now. There's a lot going on. I think Turner got bumped down. or they're still at it actually. Turner does, I believe, have the... No, Salmonman has the inside line.
Salmonman has the inside line, but it will be shifted over into the outside line. Well, apologies here, Z, as actually Michael Turner manages to actually defend Salmonman for all he can. So actually, Turner's doing a very good job there, and now Salmonman gets shuffled off wide, trying to correct his lines, and now he's looking to defend from Suri Kayumov, who is actually bumped down to 12th place.
I don't think there's a Holix driver in the top 10 anymore.
Yeah, no Holix driver in the top 10, even with the messed up standings, because Raja Kaczynski is still not properly credited into the standings. So back into this race at the moment, the race for the race lead is looking very bleak right now because the gap has definitely opened up. Coming into the end of the first tenth of this race, Callum Gibbons actually built up a massive gap against Rim Olgo. 5 seconds now.
Well, Gibbons is quite a good driver overall. Managed to score quite well in the last races and now has pole, and with this time and everything, it's just seems it's going to be another sweep unless lapped cars get involved.
Anyways, back into the topic of Callum Gibbons. Obviously, this season has been absolutely amazing for him in both Formula Hololive and Hololive GT3. He scored a win in the Split A race in Formula Hololive back at Fuji and managed to consolidate in second place in the Formula Hololive race. And in the Hololive GT3, Callum Gibbons finished second after nearly beating out Daniel Bauer. And now leading this race, Callum Gibbons is going to have 375 points in both Formula Hololive and Hololive GT3, as well as consolidating the championship lead on both series. And anyways, Michael Turner and John Mee actually jostle for position, and actually Michael Turner actually managed to beat John Mee, and now John Mee gets shuffled off wide, and Salmonman's on the inside. Salmonman on the inside line into this racetrack, coming into turn 11. Let's see how this goes.
He clearly saw a opportunity going in, and it seems he's really trying to shuffle Mead off, really giving him a run for his money. And I think Mead just can't defend against Salmonman anymore. It's just a lost cause.
Anyways, 10 laps complete this race. We are officially past the first 10th of this race, and looking into this early stages here, Allgore is trying to catch up to Gibbons, but right now it's a battle, and you can see here Michael Turner gets shuffled off wide there, and Salman might be able to profit, but of course Michael Turner manages to get his nose ahead just in time. So that's Salman having to wait for the next window to find a chance. And as you can see here, Salman, I think, overshot the final, the penultimate corner. And now, he's under pressure for John Mead.
Ooh, I think Salman does have like a slight advantage, but I think that advantage just got lost after the inside line is taken, and it's over. Anyways, the risky strategy didn't. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, it didn't pay off. Yeah. Anyways, looking into the top 3 at the moment, it's currently a Lexus lockout. Obviously, we have Callum Gibbons, Rem Allgore, and Daniel Bauer inside the top 3. And since we do want to mention to you that Tsukuba has a variety of corners. Speaking of corners, there's slow corners and fast corners, and there's not many long straights to expose the straight line disadvantage. You can see why we have 3 Lexus cars inside the top 3.
Yeah, the Lexus cars are just absolutely dominating, and for now at least, the Nissan cars kind of struggle a little. I mean, there is a slightly long straight going in there, but it's just it's alright. It's a pretty balanced track, I'd argue, with a slight favor towards the Lexus car.
Anyways, looking into the race cars and looking into their gaps, looking at Michael Turner trying to get past Makoto Miyamoto and actually lost a good amount of time against Isekaiji Mikolev there. The gap is now 7.7 seconds between 6th and 7th, which is actually larger than the gap between the race leader and second place. Now let's take a look into the leaderboards as in the gaps. from the race leader, and right now the gaps have opened up to 38 seconds. Now the lap time here in Tsukuba is around 55 seconds, so that's gonna open up the possibility of lap cars as early as maybe lap 20 or lap 30.
That's good. So lap cars for a whole 60 to 70 rounds seems like a very hellish for Callum Gibbons at the moment.
That is if he cannot pass. And right now, he knows he has a fast car, and he knows he's got confidence in his passing skills. He has known to be quite aggressive sometimes when it comes to driving behind the wheel. And so Gibbons is not going to be too faced with the possibility of him being held up by lap traffic. But of course, Tsukuba is a different animal altogether when it comes to passing. So if he can manage to pass in each of these race cars with ease, then he might be able to set up a chance.
Yeah, but that is, again, like you said, whole different animal. So you really got to adjust your tactics to the track at hand, which I guess you could say for all tracks, but especially this one, as passing is particularly difficult.
Oh, you can see here Shazren Redza, the first driver coming into the pit. He's gonna try his luck for a undercut strategy here. He's actually the first driver to pit, and let's see how this strategy unfolds for Shazren Redza.
With the passing and everything, I think a two-stop is a little controversial, but I'm sure that Shazren Redza can make it work. I believe in him.
Anyway, Shazren Redza finally coming outside the pits, actually manages to exit in between a few Hololive cars. He actually manages to exit ahead of between the Koyoklo cars, basically comprising of Lee Liu and Zinglimberly. He's currently in a Koyoklo sandwich.
I'm sure that'll change though, as Shazren Redza with their arguably fresher tires will probably, hopefully, storm and blitz through the back ranks.
And right now he's trying to warm up his tires to see if he can get his pace ready. Everyone is lapping at the 57s, so the Redza is gonna try to open up his odds of trying to clear Liu and hopefully try to get a lap time of like a 55-second lap time range, so that he can chip onto the gap of at least Rim Olgor and Daniel Bauer. Because right now, Callum Gibbons is definitely hard to catch. And as you can see here, Shazren Redza finally gets the move done on Liu, as he currently has his eyes set on trying to string fast laps after fast laps.
Yeah, but they do have a solid 15-second gap they have to clear until they make it to Reba, which could definitely be a problem, but I'm sure that they'll clear that gap in a few laps now. Yeah.
Let's take a look back. Okay, noted on that one. Let's pay attention to Shazren's gap coming to Reba as it goes, because right now the gaps are definitely closed down. 13.5 as it stands. And let's take a look at Shazren Redza's lap time coming into this session here, coming into the end of his lap. Shazren Redza coming into the final corner after clearing Liu. The gap has now opened up to 3 seconds. So that definitely speaks volumes of the pace difference that each of these drivers have. And now he sets his personal best lap time of a 55.611, 4 seconds faster than the guys in the back.
Yeah, the guys in the back aren't doing so great.
But I feel like I fear that I think he may pit a bit too early, and if he did pit too early, then that might pose a bit of problem that he might have to pit a second time. That's just one of the few issues that has been reoccurring in each of the 2 series that we've been hosting.
Yeah, there is a like a solid, I'm gonna do my math wrong, like 71-ish miles of racetrack left. There's a lot of racetrack left.
Well, just wanted to reconfirm to you again, it's actually at about just over 100 miles actually, just over about 100 miles of racing.
Oh, I'm silly.
You were actually talking about 70 laps. Which, no, 80 laps of racing to go here in Tsukuba.
Yeah, I was looking more towards that. I was like, oh, a mile per the thing, you know?
Yeah, okay, we know that on that one scene. But anyways, here we see Makoto Miyamoto doing his best impression leading the train of race cars. And as you can see here, Miyamoto have definitely lost a lot of pace against the guys inside the top 6 positions here. And right now Miyamoto is currently in 7th. Looking at Kaczynski though, Kaczynski is currently in 5th, Izakaki Mikalev is in 6th. They're currently lapping at the 56th, and Miyamoto is lapping in the 57th. And Michael Turner here, despite having the faster car, is absolutely struggling to find a way to overtake Miyamoto, which just shows you how difficult it is to overtake here in Tsukuba. And as you can see here, Shazren Redza has definitely built the gap against Kamen Riba. And now, here we see Callum Gibbons finally getting himself against lap cars.
Yeah, it seems that Gibbons is finally about to have a showdown with Wheatley at the moment, and then probably Wimberley is next. So we'll see how that turns out.
Anyways, Callum Gibbons' gap, which was at about 8 to 9 seconds, has now dropped down to 4.7 seconds. Rem Olgor and Daniel Bauer have, I think, played the cards right in trying to back out in the first stages of this race, so that when Callum Gibbons gets stuck behind lap traffic, they're going to be able to catch up. And looking at Shazren Redza's lap times at the moment, Shazren Redza is currently setting another personal best of a 55.554, and Callum Gibbons is still being stuck behind lap traffic.
You can just see how bad that gap was demolished. It went from like 7 seconds to 3 seconds in like very short amount of time.
In a very short amount of time, and if Gibbons pits, he's gonna probably lose his race lead to Shazren Redza. And looking into the gas right now, Olgor have now closed the gap to 2.6 seconds.
Yeah, unless Gibbons scores that lapped car really soon, Olgor could definitely be a problem.
And currently, Callum Gibbons is still stuck behind Gruffin Wheatley. The lap time previously was at 59, 4 seconds lower than Shazren Redza's last lap. And now, finally, Gibbons is going to make a move to clear 1 lap car, but he still has 2 lap cars to deal with. And now, Gibbons is going to hope that Wheatley might be able to actually fight Callum Gibbons, and now Callum Gibbons is going to lose more time.
Yeah, that might have been a little bit. It's side by side at the moment, but if he messes this up, it could be a huge problem for him. So if Wheatley defends, that's what you're hoping. If you're secretly hoping Gibbons loses, is that if this battle doesn't lead up. But he does manage to clear Wheatley, and now Bauer looks like he's getting into the mix with a 0.2 second behind Olgor, and all of that gap is slowly starting to regain, and it looks like Bauer is just about to go side by side with Rim Olgor at the moment, and that lapped car right there could definitely be a problem. Really just the difference between 2nd and 3rd place.
Yeah,
lap car is playing a huge role.
Yeah, lap car is playing a huge role in this race because of what you call the short circuit here in Tsukuba. Tsukuba 400 has had another twist in this race, with Daniel Bauer taking 2nd place from Rim Olgor, and now Bauer is going to try to catch up to Callum Gibbons, and now Shazren Redza have now caught up to Kamen Riba. If he wants to have a shot into recently, and oh yeah, we have confirmation there. Shazren Redza has pitted way too early on that previous stop. He should have pitted a bit later, and now he's doomed to pit for a 2nd time.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big problem for Shazren, as that's gonna force him way back.
And that's not gonna look good in his bid to win the Hololive GT3 Japan Series title for Himemori Luna. And now Callum Gibbons is still stuck behind Zeke Wimberley in 17th place. If Daniel Bauer and Rim Olgor can catch up to Callum Gibbons, which they do, the battle for the top 3 and the battle for the final 3 is actually very much showing up right now. We are literally seeing the battle for the 3 positions on top and bottom at the same time.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. Instead of the track of the big old train of cars being in the middle, it's instead in the front and back at the same time, which is honestly kind of refreshing to see. This is why this is such a nice track. You get a lot of interesting races like this one.
Yeah, looking into the battles here at the moment here, Wimberley is still giving Callum Gibbons a run for his money, actually giving an even bigger run for his money. As you can see here, and you can see here, Daniel Bauer actually tried to go to the outside against Callum Gibbons, but it's not forthcoming. And now you can see here, Daniel Bauer is now under pressure from Olgo once again.
It's a never-ending fight as they're currently side by side right now, but I do... Oh shoot, that pin just messed me up. Anyway, they are side by side, I believe, but I believe it is starting to cool down just a little bit, but it's
oh, and
not,
you can see here,
seems...
Olgo actually dives into the inside of Callum Gibbons. He might actually have a shot for the race lead.
This is a very interesting move, very risky move too. Bauer could have overtaken there and it would have just been a giant mess. Okay.
It's now a giant mess on this racetrack. The amount of lap cars here is unreal. And now Bauer tries to steal second place back from Olgor.
And Olgor fights back, and I think Olgor is managing, is a win for Rim Olgor for now anyway. Took second place from Bauer. It's still gonna rage on for a little while, I assume, though.
Currently, the guys inside that actually has now stretched up to 4th place now. Look at Hofumi and Raiju Kaczynski. They're now currently inside the battle for the lead at the moment. They're going to join the top 3.
That's just going to create an even bigger mess.
An even bigger mess, and we're all here for it. As you can see here, it's now currently very nip and tuck between all of these rivals. Currently, as you can see here, 25 laps complete. Officially past the quarter mark here in the Tsukuba 400A race, and as you can see here, Fumi have actually overtaken Daniel Bauer for 3rd place.
And now that that Fumi is in the mix, they'll try to go for Olgor, and then Bauer will go. Now it's reached all the way to 5th place, and it's oh my god! And it seems Bauer is.
It actually scratched that. It doesn't stretch to 5th place. It's now stretched to 6th place. And with Isekai Jimikola actually being stuck behind traffic, Miyamoto might actually have a chance to catch up. And right now, this is what a chaotic race we're having at the moment.
And looking at the time right now, it seems even at some point that Rimberley might be staging attack with a 0.3, which could cause.
Oh, you can see here. Actually, no. Olgor, I think, has actually made a move down the inside to take the race lead away from Gibbons.
Oh,
and now Gibbons gonna try to attack.
This is so messy. The lap cars are playing a huge effect in there, and it seems like they tried to go for a double right there, maybe trying to clear the lap car and Olgor itself, but I don't think that worked out, and it's still just a giant race lead, and it looks like they're going side by side with the lap car, Zeke Wimberley and Gibbons, but I think that's a pretty easy battle right there with Gibbons just coming on top, I think.
But right now, the battle is still raging here between the lead car and the car going a lap down here. Now Gibbons finally able to clear Zeke Wimberley for him to be placed a lap down, but now he still has another obstacle that he needs to clear. One more obstacle that he needs to clear is currently, and as you can see here, Fumi actually is looking very opportunistic on his move against Rim Olgor. They're now side by side heading into the first hairpin here, and now you can see here Olgor actually pushed Fumi off wide, and now he's under pressure from Bauer.
And Shazren Redza just went back into the pit, miscalculating their fuel. That's a shame. And Bauer and Fumi are still going off right now, trying to see who's better. It's side by side, and there's not much track length to accommodate the battle, especially with all the other cars just lounging around in this area. It's so chaotic.
And now the moment you've all been waiting for here, and as you can see here, Cal Gibbons finally clears the lap car of Ri Liu, and crucially, Gibbons has 2 lap cars that he can use as a pick for them to hold off the rest of the field. And so that will actually play to Cal Gibbons' advantage. And actually, crucially, Shazren Redza has actually managed to get ahead of Cal Gibbons, but only just. But actually, with those fresher tires and with him not really needing to pit again at the end of this race, he might be able to manage to stay out for the entirety of this race. But everyone else has to pit, so Shazren Redza might actually have an advantage.
That's going to be interesting, even after they miscalculated their fuel and everything. It was very rough of them. That was just pure luck on the there's no better word for this, I'm sorry, but the incompetence of the drivers in my back, in the back, including myself, so.
Yeah, which is a bit of a shame here. And now Daniel Bauer shuffles Fumi down to 4th place once again. Another chapter in the books here at the Tsukuba 400. And as you can see here, Kaczynski has actually managed to kind of overtake the Tokinosora car driven by Fumi. It's a battle for 4th place at the moment. But right now, Fumi is going to try his fancy to try to make a move against Daniel Bauer once again.
And it seems Carisha and Suharto had a small battle, but that was over pretty quickly with Carisha going off. And then Fumi and Bauer finally making some progress, but I think Bauer does have a slight advantage with the placement of the car itself. I think Bauer is going to win this one, yeah.
And currently Bauer continues to actually no. Fumi has the inside line coming into the final corner. Fumi's going to steal 3rd place.
Oh my god. But they're side by side right now, so Bauer could definitely steal it back if he plays his cards right. And looking at the angle here, still side by side, but Fumi does have the slightly better position, I believe.
Ooh, they're side by side coming into their hairpin.
Oh my god.
Anyways, Fumi, hang on, Z. Currently, Bauer and Olgor currently trading blows once again. Bauer's now back up to 2nd place. But will Olgor try to challenge Bauer for position once again? Yes, they're side by side. Olgor, I think, has a better exit off of turn 11. Coming into turn 12, who's going to brake later than usual? It's going to be Rim Olgor against Bauer. Cal Gibbons finally is able to build his race lead once again. The gap is now opened up to 9.9 seconds between the cars battling for 2nd and Cal Gibbons.
And it seems Bauer and Olgor are currently trading positions. Meanwhile, Fumi is kind of holding behind them, waiting for the best time to strike. And the lap traffic is still unbearable, but oh, I thought he was going to make a really good recess camera angle. Oopsie.
Anyways, now Fumi's back into the mix. Raija Kaczynski's not far behind. He's trying to go left as well. The battle for 2nd have now stretched to 5 drivers now, with Daniel Bauer leading this pack in 2nd place. Fumi have now shuffled Olgor down to 4 as Fumi takes 3rd. Nikolev is 6th, currently trying to challenge Raija Kaczynski for position.
It's not gonna happen anytime soon, I think, especially with all the chaos and pandemonium happening up front. I think that's a good way to keep like a gap to be just like consistent. But that could definitely change in the near future with all the battles going on.
And currently Miyamoto have finally caught up into the guys inside the battle for 2nd place here. Miyamoto have closed down the gap to 5.2 seconds here. The guys from 7th to around, I believe 13th are currently just trying to coast their way into a battle. And right now, these drivers have yet to pit. And right now, I think they're going to go for the overcut strategy by pitting way later than usual because the warming of the tires hadn't been as quick as they want to because of the overcast weather, which definitely plays a part in warming up the tires after coming out of the pits.
So far it seems that the war up front has cooled down, at least for a little bit, at least in terms of the position standings, but I can't confirm that for lapped cars, but everything looks the same.
And currently Shazren Redza is unable to try to close down the gap to Riva as much as he wants to, because looking into But looking to the last lap there, but it's actually a bit better there. But he is closing down just a bit. And now Olgor and Fumi side by side for third place once again.
Same song and dance, and it seems Olgor did manage to come out on top, unless Fumi is launching another offensive. He's currently fighting Kaczynski, I think.
Yeah, he's fighting Raji Kaczynski.
And it looks like Kaczynski does have the advantage here, at least in terms of position, placement.
Yes.
Or position, however you call it. Yeah, it seems Kaczynski managed to push Fumi off.
And now Karaji Kaczynski is in 4th place, Fumi in 5th. Now Mikolev is going to try to challenge his fellow Gen 0 teammate. Fumi's now shuffled down to 6th. Mikolev, after backing off for much of the race, is now trying to find an offensive, but not before Fumi puts his own challenge on his own. And as you can see here, Kaczynski is also putting a challenge against Rim Olgo for 3rd place.
And also, while all these battles are happening, Kurisha has entered the pits.
There we see the pit window opening for Robert Kurisha as he is now finally put his car, the Takane Lowy Nissan, in the pit lane. And as you can see here, let's see if these can pull a spanner through it. And now he is exited in 14th place. And the lap car pandemonium have gone absolutely crazy. And as you can see here, really and seemingly have lost a lot of time. They have definitely lost a good amount of time. It's gonna be very possible that they may be placed 2 laps down come the end of this race.
We're just like saboteurs, you know. We're not really fighting for position. We're fighting for front. That's our excuse.
Well, that's one thing. Currently, Daniel Bauer and Raji Kaczynski, Chocomel side by side coming into the hairpin here. As you can see here, Bauer and Kaczynski side by side, which should be a battle for 2nd place actually. And now Bauer on the inside trying to find a good exit off of turn 11 against Raji Kaczynski, and now he does manage to find good exit there. And now Kaczynski is looking to be under pressure from Olgor.
Yeah, and Olgor is currently fighting Fumi as well. It's just all a giant mess. And then there's also the lap traffic still. And looking at the gap right now, Rilu is currently 16 seconds behind Kurisha. And basically, as soon as you clear Wimberley, it's all smooth sailing for like
you forgot
most
Rilu.
of the race. I thought I said Rilu. Oh well. Okay, my bad.
Okay, anyway, Shazren Redza is about to get lapped by Callum Gibbons if he doesn't play his cards right. He needs to clear Isekaiji Mikolev as soon as possible. However, he should, if he can play his cards right, Shazren Redza, he might try his luck to block Callum Gibbons, as he is currently yet to serve a pit stop, and Shazren Redza has to serve 2 pit stops, so he's okay for the end of this race. And right now, Shazren Redza might actually try to play a sabotage game on his own.
So, 13th through 18th is currently, 14th through 18th is currently playing a game of sabotage, as they know they basically have no real chance of winning. So, good on them, I suppose. They're having fun.
Anyways, Raji Kaczynski side by side against Rem Olgor for what should be 3rd place, but Olgor manages to defend, tries hanging around the inside, which actually moves into the outside. Kaczynski has the momentum and has the position to get himself in, and now Crystal Salomon gets himself inside 8th place against John Mead, who actually managed to counterattack just like that. That's a real battle of attrition here at the moment. It's absolutely very crazy. Daniel Bauer finally coming into the pits.
Hold on, who's going into the pits again?
Daniel Bauer.
Oh, it was a good run for Bauer, but going into the pits first could definitely be a smart move, I'd argue, because everyone else is going to have to pit and everything. And it's just going to be a giant mess.
It's a giant mess indeed. Because right now, we just want to confirm to you back, Kaczynski has now moved up to 2nd place, and now Olgor still in 3rd. Fumi's now back into the mix once again, and with everyone else pitting, Miyamoto have now shuffled herself up to 4th place.
The one that lost so much pace managed to move themselves up to 4th, which is quite nice to see, at least until everyone pits and then they get stomped on. But more importantly, however, everyone's out of the pits for at least for right now. The pit window, I believe, is starting to open up for your one-stop strategy, from what I could assume, assuming you don't want to do a 2-stop and that's up before. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, Turner and Fumi are currently fighting at the moment. All hustle, all muscle. I believe they started all the way back in around 13th place or something. I don't know where they started at. It was somewhere around there. And Mead and Fumi are also fighting. Did Fumi enter the pits?
No, it was Salomon.
No, Fumi didn't. No, Fumi did enter the... Okay. Seems Fumi has lost a little bit of touch at the moment.
Ooh, you can see there's more side-by-side battles between Mead and Fumi. As you can see here, Fumi tries to hang it around the inside of turn 9, I think. And coming into turn 11 here, more drivers shuffling more shuffles inside the standings here. We have seen a lot of overtakes left, right, and center. And now you can see here more drivers have yet to pit. And now Michael Turner, actually no, we still have a few drivers trying to challenge for position here. Fumi and Mead once again trying to contest more positions here. As you can see, Kayumov tries to defend against John Mead, who is currently in 7th place.
Yeah, it seems someone of Hololux is finally taking a swing at all this positional battle and everything, and it seems Kayumov has managed to pull everything off, and now their next target is Fumi, and it seems Kayumov and Mead are fighting once again, side by side, I believe, at least from what no, it's not side by side. Okay, not bad.
Anyways, back into the current order here, and as you can see here, Miyamoto, trying to challenge Rim Olgo for 2nd place. It's Watame versus Subaru exiting turn 11. Miyamoto is gonna try her fancy to get herself into 2nd place after hanging herself around in mid-table. And now she's gonna try to challenge for 2nd place.
3rd place, I believe. Kaczynski's in 2nd.
Yeah, sorry. The 3rd place, Kaczynski is in 2nd. We forgot that Kaczynski has not been properly recorded. And as you can see here, everyone is still stuck behind the Koyokuro duo of Wimberly and Ryu. And now finally, with John Mee coming into the pits, this may be another shuffle inside the standings.
Yeah, it seems the Koyokuro combo is just like absolutely holding everything up, and it's just causing a giant disaster, to say the least. The stinky orca and the smart coyote.
Yeah, really showing up in this race so far. As you can see, Gibbons is desperately trying to clear one of his opponents, Shazren Redza, of a position here. He wants to try to put Shazren Redza a lap down, but there are no real blue flag rules here in Assetto Corsa, so Shazren Redza is able to defend his spot inside the lead lap with relative ease. And as you can see here, Kayumov and Fumi battling side by side once again. It's Kayumov up to 6th place.
Yeah, and now they just have the lapped car of Wheatley, which they should be able to pass with ease, and it seems Fumi is also trying to pass Wheatley.
Yeah, Fumi's gonna try to clear Gruffin Wheatley, who's currently in last place, but right now Fumi is having struggled a bit. Here's more battles between Rim Olgor and Miyamoto. Olgor having the outside line, which will shift to the inside, which will be on Olgor's favor as Miyamoto gets shuffled off into the outside line.
And it seems Olgor has managed to reclaim 2nd place, and now has to clear the lap car. What lap car is that?
Oh, and you can see here, I think there is a dive. There's actually a change of position here between Zeke Wimberly and Rin Liu. It's a battle for the silver spoon. They're not really going to fight for points, but they are fighting for pride and glory. And it's now the Koyori car up front. And look at Rim Olgor trying to find a way past the Chloe car for him to have a chance against Raiji Kaczynski.
Yeah, it's all just chaos, and it seems that the back ranks are finally starting to fight a little for position, which, I mean, they're not getting any points, but I mean, it is fun to watch.
Yeah, it's fun to watch here for everyone so far. Cal Gibbons is still maintaining a good gap against Rim Olgor and Makoto Miyamoto, who have lost a good amount of time against the Pollo duo, of course. And now you can see Isakaji Mikolev tries to overtake Kaminari River, but it's not forthcoming for Mikolev. And as you can see here, it's now opened up the door for Shazren Redza to try to find a fighting chance.
Shazren Redza I just blitz at this rate. It's not looking good for them. They got Gibbens on the tail. They're about to be lapped, and hopefully they'll prevail.
And looking into the pit stop counter here, the only driver that he has been probably beat is Isakaji Mikolev and Seri Kayumov, who have done their first stop. But to their credit, and Kayumov actually has to make a second stop. I just need to check on what happened to Kayumov, because Kayumov is currently pitting once again.
I don't think it was a problem with their car.
I don't think it's a problem with the car. I think this might be strategy.
That's an odd strategy.
Anyways, let's see if they can play their cards right. And currently for Shazren Redza, his cards are currently being played at the right time at the moment here. As you can see here, Nikolai can shuffle off wide, and this may pose problems for the Sakuramiko team as Shazren Redza tries to bring his Himemori Luna car back inside the top 5.
Looking at some of the times set, there's some impressive times being set within the back rows, or at least unless I'm hallucinating or something. But I'm seeing some 57s around the midways, and then there's some 58s down in the back ranks, which is good for the back ranks.
Well, it's good for those at the back. For those who are currently trying to clear those guys at the back, that's going to be a huge issue. As currently Kaczynski is currently pulling away against their opponents for a very comfortable second place finish for Yuzuki Choko. Kaczynski had won previously in 2022. That was at Tokachi for Yuzuki Choko in the penultimate round of the split B regular season. Let's see what Kaczynski can do to try to challenge for the race lead, currently being held by Calvin Gibbons.
And then Fumi and Turner are currently fighting, shuffling positions around at the moment, but it seems that might have died down. No, it's still slightly on. I'm seeing a 1.07 gap between them, but I think it's dead by now. So.
And now looking at Hofumi and Michael Turner side by side, 4th position. Michael Turner gets up to 5th place, adjusting Raija Kaczynski's place inside the standings. It's getting very chaotic at the moment between all of these drivers, and right now there is nothing really separating between each of them.
It's just the same song and dance, different characters, you know?
It's the same song and dance, but with different faces. Yes, we do note that, but right now Calvin Gibbons is still trying to find a way past the lap, trying to get past Shazren Redza, who is about to get lapped. And as you can see here, Daniel Bauer is currently a lap down against Calvin Gibbons. But looking at Daniel Bauer, he has already pitted. Calvin Gibbons is yet to pit, so that is gonna be a spanner in the works. Once we get into lap 49, we have officially passed the halfway stage of this race, but there's still a long way to go.
A long way to go, of course, but most of our drivers have yet to pit, so it's going to be interesting to see what strategies they have. They technically have 48 lap old tires.
Yes, and currently the guys in the top 7 have yet to pit, and the guys in the top 8 have yet to stop, and the guys at the bottom 3 have yet to stop. In terms of the battle of the guys who have made their pit stops, Shazren Redza have no, Rim Olgo finally makes his move into the pits. He pits earlier than Calvin Gibbons.
That might be a net first place for Olgor for that move. Actually, no, that would go to Bauer, I think.
That might go to Bauer, but no, it actually goes to Isakaji Mikolev, because Mikolev have actually pitted and actually beat both Shazren Redza and Daniel Bauer, because Bauer was actually stuck in lap traffic and Mikolev just closed in on the gap.
This might be a surprise win from Mikolev.
Surprise to even Mikolev, yes indeed, but we don't know if Mikolev have kind of miscalculated fuel runs or not. but we'll have to pay attention as we have now officially crossed the halfway stage of this race. This race is not over.
Can we look at the biggest winners and losers? I'm just curious.
Okay, so let's take a look back into the progress charts here, and unsurprisingly, Michael Turner, after being laid back for much of the first stages of this race and much of the first half of this race, he has gained 10 positions from 13th place. Obviously, actually, it's not actually just 9 positions because we haven't properly counted Raj Kaczynski, because Raj Kaczynski is not in the timetable. So yeah, Michael Turner gains 9 positions, and currently Rim Olgor, because he has just lost a good amount of positions, a lot of positions as well. But we're gonna have to pay attention on Olgor's challenge against everyone else, because right now Gibbons has this race under control, and now actually Shazren Redza has actually passed Isekaiji Mikolev, because right now, looking into the guys who have already pitted, the guy who is currently in the net race lead is Mohamed Shazren Redza, who is still inside the lead lap and currently leading all the drivers who have made their stops.
This is interesting for a blunder and field.
And currently we have over half of the field currently down a lap, because currently Gibbons have yet to pit. Because I feel like when Gibbons inevitably pits, there's going to be a massive battle near the end. I just feel it.
Oh, speaking of pitting, Wheatley has just went into the pits, a lapped car going. I think if they're not careful, they could just get wrapped twice. Oh shoot, I didn't realize, Bauer and Mikolev going side by side right now. It's seems Mikolev does definitely have the upper hand though, but it still is going on at the moment as they slide in to complete their lap. Actually no, wait, I lied, I'm sorry.
Anyways,
but
Mikolev,
anyways,
Mikolev currently in 7th place, trying to defend very well against Daniel Bauer here. Daniel Bauer tries to peel around the outside, but Bauer has a very good exit coming in the exit of turn 11. I think that's enough. Fumi finally coming into the pits for the servicing of his car coming into the second half of this race. Gibbons have yet to pit, but let's see how much longer he can hold on.
Until pitting, I don't think very long. It's been more than halfway through the race and everything, and it seems most of the people right now found out it was a great idea to pit at this current time, and I think Mikolev is currently having a rough time with Bauer still trying to hound for that 6th place position, but Mikolev refuses to give it without a fight.
And now we have new drivers being blocked by Ri Liu, and now Reba have overtaken Fumi, but that's only because Fumi have made his pit stop, as well as a few other drivers here. Mikolev and Bauer trading blows once again.
Same song and dance. Mikolev's gonna make an amazing defense, I think, utilizing some of the cars, I believe, to kind of cut off any maneuverability that the people behind them might have.
Yeah, looking into the top 3, it's still a Lexus podium lockout with Callan Gibbons leading the way, Miyamoto 2nd, and Michael Turner 3rd. And as for the Nissans, currently in Hololive GT3, they haven't been really showing up, because in the last race at Fuji, despite having a straight line advantage on that main straight, neither of the Nissan cars have managed to win at Fuji, at least for round 1 of the Hololive GT3 Japan series. But for the rest of the season, what do you think is the outlook for Nissan?
If Nissan can't win on a straight dominated thing, it seems though all the Lexus drivers are very, very talented and a lot more just cunning than an average Nissan driver, which kind of sounds insulting, but I don't know, that's my job. But overall, I don't think it's looking good for Nissan, but I do believe it is quite young into this series that Nissan can manage to pull out and come out on top, because it is very young into the series.
And now Cal Gibbons finally finds a way to lap Mohamed Shazren Redza. That only leaves 5 drivers who is currently on the lead lap. Shazren Redza is now currently down a lap, but Cal Gibbons still has an issue that he needs to solve, which is to clear Liu of putting him down like 2 laps. Because right now, and as you can see here, Kaczynski, this is a massive battle here for position here. As you can see here, Kaczynski is currently in 6th place, and as you see, Kaczynski, I don't think he has pitted. I don't think he has pitted just yet, because I want to take a look at the pit stops. No, because I don't think Kaczynski has pitted.
Kaczynski will have to pit eventually, so you might as well get as many places as you can, build up a gap, and get out around 10th, 11th place.
And right now it's been very chaotic here. I think Cal Gibbons has almost lapped the entire field here. And as you can see, Osama Man battling John Mead once again. There has been a lot of battling for position. Croatia now up to 7th place. Who would have predicted that Hololive would have seen some drivers inside the top 10 after all?
I don't think anyone predicted Hololive to have any drivers in the top 10, to be honest.
And right now, Callan Gibbons have yet to come into the pits. Finally, Callan Gibbons has made the call to come into the pits, but now the onus is on Shazren Redza to try to get himself into a good position to try to beat Cal Gibbons off the line. Because right now, Shazren Redza have now passed through the start-finish line to try to mount a charge. Shazren Redza is now up to 3rd place. Michael Turner have yet to pit, because we are seeing most of the drivers finally coming into the pits, with the exception of Zeke Wimberly and Ri Liu being one of the few drivers who have yet to pit.
It seems that they're very, very dedicated to their saboteur job and are living it until the end, having as much fun as they can. I admire them.
Anyway, Shazren Redza is finally unleashed again into the racetrack here. Callan Gibbons finally consolidates his spot into the race lead, and currently the next car that he'll have to deal is Gruffin Wheatley once again.
Oh boy, well they dealt with Wheat quite effortlessly last time, so this should be relatively easy for Gibbons.
Well, right now, Callan Gibbons, representing the high-spec robot Roboco, Roboco is currently, how do we say this? It's been 7 years since Roboco was first booted into her body and all that stuff, and she's currently living her life as a talented Hololive member. And right now, Callan Gibbons has been a guy that prefers cyborgs and machines throughout, and as you can see here in the side of Nijisanji is Oshi is Folger Ovid in Nijisanji Yen. And if you want to know who Folger Ovid is, he is also a cyborg who is also man and machine, but Roboco is full machine. So Callan Gibbons, Gibbons has some sort of connection between Roboco and Holger, and that's why Gibbons is able to really shine his skills. And speaking of skills here, let's see if we can clear Gruffin Wheatley and put him 2 laps down.
It is a bit of a long drive to Wheatley, but should be clear in no time once those tires warm up. And looking at the middle, it is a little bit hectic, and Mead and Salomon are currently were fighting, but it seems Mead got the better of Salomon as Mead is slowly starting to catch back up to 7th place where he originally was.
Anyways, looking into the fastest lap thing, Callan Gibbons 55.451. So he's absolutely showing up with this new fresh boots that he has at the moment. Currently, Olgo had been challenging inside the top 5, is now condemned to fight inside the top 10. Where have we seen this before?
Where have we seen this before?
Yeah, anyways, Rim Olgor stuck in 11th place here and trying to clear Sakayo Bomb, but hopefully the opportunity presents itself in the form of cars battling for position here. John Mead and Robert Croatia currently battling for what should be 8th and 9th place, and currently Croatia has the inside line. Cal Gibbons with another fastest lap, 55.424. He's currently banging these lap times as if it was, I don't know, I can't think of any words at the moment.
Executive documents.
Executive documents, yeah. If you want to call him that, yeah. Anyways, Olgor have finally cleared Kayumov to put himself in 11th place. Remember, guys, Raja Kaczynski is still here, currently down in 6th place. And right now, me and Croatia currently trading blows once again. It's the Hachama car versus the Louis car. And right now, it's the Hachama side that is ahead. And right now, coincidentally, the driver ahead represents Sakura Miko. So we'll have a Hachama and Miko battle coming up.
And it looks like it's starting to heat up a little bit as I saw Mead right there slowly open up an attack. And speaking of opening up an attack, it seems Salman found a weakness in Carisha's defense. And Kaimov and Olgor are fighting too, so it seems the middle does seem to have some action going on as we speak at the moment.
Anyways, Michael Turner has been one of the biggest gainers in this race. Salman and me battling once again here. Honda versus Honda again. Now Salman gets shuffled away by John Mead. Mead is trying to find a way past Mikolev, and now Salman's gonna try to challenge Mead down the inside. Mikolev. Definitely no Salman. Let's see if he can hang it around the inside to defend position. Yes, he does. They're still stuck behind Liu, who is stubbornly giving everyone a hard time.
Yeah, it's just a giant. Liu and Wimberley are just like absolute monsters in the back because they've allowed such a large gap to just be drawn. It's 32 seconds behind Callum Gibbons' Michael Turner's time right now.
We're gonna
That's
start,
a big gap.
Yeah, it's a big gap at the moment, and right now we're gonna be looking to, and as you can see here, finally Zeke Wimberley puts that Koyuri car out of misery and coming into the pits, and now Shazren Redza is gonna try to clear Michael Turner for second place.
Okay, it seems that Gibbons, if clearing Wheatley seems to be their main priority at the moment. Hopefully they should clear it soon, as we don't want, he doesn't want Turner to catch up.
And Juan Suarto finally coming in for his stop. Zeke Wimberley also coming in for his stop. We are seeing drivers getting themselves back inside the top 5 like Daniel Bauer. Raja Kaczynski still in 5th place. I don't think he has pitted, but we'll have to check back once again, because right now he's still not properly credited inside the standings. And as you can see here, we have confirmation Kaczynski is in 5th, and Juan Suarto have kind of dropped a few more positions here. Now he's down in 15th place.
It seems that the Wimberley car is back in last place as it originally once was. The car has done good for stalling the entire game for 63 or so rounds.
Anyways, Michael Turner catching up to Callum Gibbons with his personal best of 56. And as you can see here, Callum Gibbons is still stuck behind Gruffin Wheatley, who's currently stuck on the, how do we say this? On Gruffin Wheatley, who is currently down a lap, and now Raymond Olgor is going to get himself back up inside 9th place against Robert Croatia. Salomon is showing up in the ASCII Honda as predicted. He's currently in 8th place, and right now gap between the guys in 2nd and 3rd against Cal Gibbons have now dropped down to 29 seconds.
It seems that Gibbons is trying to get maybe a little bit uncomfortable knowing that Turner is coming, and middle is battling, having an all-out war right now. Miyamoto, Olgor, Fumi, and Carisha did have a battle. In fact, Carisha and Fumi are having a battle at the moment.
And right now, looking into the gaps, Michael Turner currently in 2nd place for Shirakaino, trying to find a way past Gruffin Wheatley. But remember, Gruffin Wheatley also has some pretty decent tires, so he might be able to provide an even bigger challenge, but not to the point where they hold up Gibbons very much. Well, looking into the pace difference there, Cal Gibbons currently set a 58.115. Griffin Wheatley, 58.144. Let's take a look into Turner's lap time as they're about to cross the line soon.
But they definitely are starting to gain on Gibbons, as we can see from the gap. It was once 30 seconds, now it's around a 28.5.
And now Salomon actually continuing his charge up into the field. He's currently up to 7th place after overtaking Isekai Jimikalev, and now his eyes are set to overtake John Meade for 6th place.
Oh, it seems Michael Turner has went into the pit, which definitely is quite substantial.
Well, he hasn't made his pit stop just yet, so that explains it. But meanwhile, for Shazren Redza, he's currently trying to catch Cal Gibbons, who is still stuck behind Ruffin Wheatley. He knows he has plenty of this race to go. Actually, he has over 30 laps left to try to challenge Cal Gibbons for the win. And then actually, after all of this is settled, just about, we actually want to pay attention to Michael Turner. He has finally been lapped by Cal Gibbons.
Yes, and has Gibbons lapped Shazren Redza?
Not yet.
Okay, so it seems Gibbons is close to lapping downright everyone on the field. Maybe. Actually, no, wait, hold on, no, they're not.
Well, no, they're not actually.
No.
They didn't lap everyone just yet. Because looking into the gaps, here we see that only Michael Turner on back is currently being lapped. And the reason why Gibbons managed to lap a lot of these drivers is because he is actually the last few drivers to actually pit. And this is coming from the race lead as well.
Yeah, they got so far ahead that they took just about no punishment from pitting, which is astonishing. And Liu has entered the pits finally. All that stalling is over. Sorry, Liu has entered the pits. So the Koyoko, however you pronounce it, duo has finally both pitted.
Yeah, anyways, here's the battle for a few more positions here. I just wanted to confirm back, Raiji Kazuki is actually in 4th place trying to hound Daniel Bauer for position, and right now it hasn't been forthcoming for a few drivers, particularly Rim Olgor, who is currently down in 10th place. And looking into the previous lap times here, Shazren Redza is actually faster than Cal Gibbons by 1.5 seconds. So if this continues and Cal Gibbons is still stuck behind Ruffin Wheatley, and currently he has finally cleared Ruffin Wheatley, that's gonna pose a good amount of problems for Shazren Redza, because right now Gibbons is in clean air.
At least until they see Winderloo, which currently is 21 seconds ahead of Uber, so that could maybe affect them somehow.
Okay, Z, just wanted to remind you to check your mic once again, because over time it's a bit muffled.
Sorry, I'm laying my headset into a pillow because it's 11:21 p.m.
Yes, it happens. I know one of those late night blues. Anyways, looking at Michael Turner finally trying to clear the lap car of Ruffin Wheatley, who's currently 2 laps down. And right now Zeke Wimberley is actually caught up to Ruffin Wheatley, and this is the battle for the Simple Spoon.
The battle for 16th place, also known as the unofficial 15th place. But not speaking of anything, Algor and Carisha did have a small battle, of which Algor did manage to come on top. And it seems Carisha has lost around almost 2 positions, so the Miyamoto does manage to pass him. Nothing much going on, really.
Yeah, currently Shazren Redza not finding a good amount of pace to try to close out the Cal Gibbons here right now. 30 laps to go here in Tsukuba, in the Tsukuba 400 race, the split A race. And right now Cal Gibbons still looking to actually come closer to Kayumov and Riba, who's currently battling for 12th place. And if he doesn't clear these cars anytime soon, that's going to open the door for Shazren.
Of course, Shazren does have a couple of lapped cars to overtake, but looking at the pace now, I don't think with the pace Shazren is going right now, I don't think that they'll have enough tempo to make it to Gibbons in time.
And right now, Alan Gibbons have finally caught up into the lap cars of Suri Kayumov and Co. And let's see what Gibbons can do to clear actually Kayumov of basically the status of being lead lap car. And right now, Gibbons is starting to get stuck.
That could definitely be a problem. And looking at the statistics, you need to, for Shazren, they need to clear at least 1 second in order to catch up to him in about the time frame. I did the math kind of, but it does look like Shazren does have a chance if they can get some clean air real soon.
And but there's a problem. He has done his second pit stop quite early in this race, so the tires are not there. So that is going to be one problem that he needs to solve soon. But right now he's relying on Alan Gibbons probably being stuck behind lap traffic in order for him to close down the gap. But right now, Redza is actually a second slower than Alan Gibbons on that last lap. And this may change soon because I want to take a look into the sector times because Alan Gibbons is actually slower by 0.5 of a second in the first sector. So that's going to pose a bit of problems again for Gibbo.
It seems both Gibbons and Shazren are having their own problems, and I'm looking at the times and it seems Bauer might get into the mix soon as it's only a 0.489. So Bauer definitely does have a chance to maybe snag second place from Shazren Redza.
But there's another problem. Look who is in front of Shazren Redza at the moment. Liu. And that's going to pose a lot of problems for Shazren at the moment.
Yeah, which can definitely cause Bauer and I believe Kaczynski to pop out of nowhere at like a position or two.
And speaking of popping out of nowhere, Kaczynski is looking for an opening to try to pass his fellow Chocomel teammate Daniel Bauer for position. And right now, looking into the gas right now, it has still stagnated at 29 seconds, and both of them are now stuck behind lap cars. But right now, Redza doesn't really have the pace to overtake Liu, so that's going to pose a good amount of issues for the guy in second place. He currently, just wanted to give you a bit of a trivia. He has, I think, the most tied for the most wins for a Oshi, basically. Tied with Kufrifar Kamal for Rihan Alam with 5 wins. And Shazren Redza is looking to try to win his 6th.
I don't think that's gonna happen though. I think that they just don't have the tempo in order to do it, and I think they're slowly losing time to Bauer, which even though it's not that much, it's not too bad and everything. So I think that the positions, unless the middle decides to have a little fight, will for the most part stay the same.
Anyways, let's take a look into one of the biggest gainers in this race. Crystal Salomon currently in 5th place, actually 6th place after we just ride Kaczynski. Meanwhile, Olgor and Fumi, as you can see, they're in the back. Olgor tries to put up a challenge against Fumi in terms of defense, but Olgor has the better attack. And now Olgor is going to try to hang around the outside to see if Olgor can try to find a space. But right now, it's not forthcoming. He's now under pressure from Miyamoto.
Yeah, it seems that this has basically engaged into a 3-person struggle, and it seems Bauer has finally overtaken Shazren Redza, kicking them off the second place. It's still not a Lexus lockout, but
it is a Lexus lockout.
Look
at Raja Kaczynski, because Raja Kaczynski is second.
Oh my god, I didn't know that it was a double whammy for Shazren Redza, so he just got kicked down to 4th.
Okay, anyways, just wanted to check back. Right now, Shazren Redza is not having a good time. He has been beaten by Daniel Bauer and Cal Gibbons for the 2nd race in a row. But just to add another bit of trivia at the moment, Kaczynski is also putting up a good fight as well. And right now, Riba and Kurwish are battling side by side with Kayumov behind. This is going to get interesting.
It seems Kurisha has definitely lost race pace as they went from like 7th to now it's around 11th, and it's not looking good. pretty executive.
It's not looking good for some of these drivers, especially for Shazren Redza. But given the circumstances where he started fifth, a fourth place is still pretty okay. But he probably needs a bit more. And you can see here, look at the heat on the left side of the tires. Usually in the Honda, you can see that they also track temperatures. And right now, Shazren Redza tires are absolutely hot, which absolutely does not help with the grip that you're planning to have.
Which is probably a reason why the Shazren has been slacking on lap times and defense and everything. Grip.
The grip is not forthcoming for him. Yes, he's currently stuck in fourth place, but fortunately for him, the gap between himself and John Mee is currently fifth place. Meanwhile, Grippa and Turner battling side by side for what should be a battle within the last ranges of the points. Michael Turner finally bumps with down 14th place.
It seems Turner, I believe, is somewhere around where he used to be, but I'm sure he's eyeing up more positions. It seems that the Knoll car is just an overall, like, avid attacker, but just absolutely amazing when it comes to defense, I should mention.
Oh, I think there's a crash. Gruffin Wheatley.
And how did that happen?
We're gonna check back in the replay because I think there has been contact between these two cars, and right now Wheatley is stuck behind. There's a yellow flag at the end of on turn 11. We'll need to check the Coyote car to see if there is any damage. Right now there is no damage, so I don't think there's any contact. So that I think this will also mean that Wheatley have officially become our first DNFer in this race.
I'm surprised it took this long. I was expecting a DNF in like the first 20 laps.
And right now, Count Gibbons, just nearly got collected there by Bauer, nearly got collected there by Wheatley, but Wheatley is currently stranded at the exit of turn 11, so everyone is advised to take it easy there. Wheatley still, I think, stalled the car, can't get the car moving. So another chapter in this race. Gruffin Wheatley is now going to be confirmed to finish last in this race.
The samurai has fallen.
Yikes. And of course, anyways, looking into another bits of battles here, Wimberley is still stuck a lap down, I think, even against Juan Suarto. You can see here, that's not gonna look good. Anyways, Shazren Redza is still struggling to find a way past back Raj Kaczynski and Daniel Bauer. He's still stuck in fourth place, but right now he has managed to cool down the front left tires, but the rear left tires is still pretty much hot.
So at least you'll have grip in like one tire.
Grip in one tire, but you'll need grip in all four tires to try to mount a challenge, because right now John Mead have really gotten himself into a chance to probably pip Shazren Redza off in the battle for fourth place.
Shazren Redza does have a chance to claim a fourth place though, as they're around the 0.8, and Kayumov and Karisha, two members of Hololive, were just fighting, and it seems the leader has beaten the executive. Kayumov has ended up beating Karisha. And
right now, Gibbons finally gets to clear another lap car that is Karisha, and now his eyes are set on trying to clear. Oh, he is actually a bit hot there, but you can see here the Iroha car is still stranded. And yes, that car is still stranded. They're trying to get himself back into the pit, but right now this is not forthcoming. Now, there is still no safety car in the set of Forza, which definitely is an issue. Anyways, back into this racetrack, Bauer is in second place against Raja Kaczynski. Actually, no, Raja Kaczynski is actually in second place. He has actually overtaken Daniel Bauer for second.
Oh, that's interesting.
But anyways, they're still stuck behind Ri Liu. Of course, we have Griffin Wheatley still watching. Womp, womp.
Did the intrusive thoughts win?
I'm not sure the intrusive thoughts won, but whatever the case is, Shazren Redza is still trying to definitely find a chance in this race, but he knows that if he pits, he's going to lose a lot of positions and he's going to have to overtake a few more cars, which may not be easy for him. But right now, Shazren Redza is going to try to toughen his luck out to try to forge ahead, even if the circumstances don't allow it. Because right now, John Mead is closing in to Shazren Redza's gap.
That could definitely be a problem for Shazren Redza. They just seem to just been losing like a ton of pace. It's not looking good as I'm watching the gap slowly decrease.
And right now, we have had confirmation that this has been a very slow race when it comes to average lap speed. Because of the basically short nature of this racetrack, you really can't get your, and also the amount of corners involved, you really can't really stretch the top speed of this car as much as you want. But okay, let's take a look into the progress chart to see who are the biggest gainers and who are the biggest losers. John Mead and Crystal Salaman. They're actually only gained 5 positions because Raj Kaczynski is not properly inside the standings just yet, and I don't know if he's going to pit or not. I think he has already pitted. But whatever the case is, Mead and Salaman gains 5 positions from their initial starting positions. So good. So hats off to them. But the biggest loser has definitely been Rim Allgore.
Yeah, they have lost a total of 7 positions so far, which is definitely not good. Of course it's not good.
Well, obviously, and right now Bauer's gap to Gibbons have opened up because Cal Gibbons has had more consistent lap times here than Bauer. Bauer have obviously trying to catch Kaczynski. Kaczynski's trying to catch Ridley, but it's not forthcoming just yet. And right now, Salaman is catching up. John Mead has closed the gap. It's now at 3.8 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. But right now, Mead is looking very good to try to challenge Shazren Redza on 5 laps.
Yeah, that should be here soonish around lap, at this pace around lap 87 of lap 90.
Anyways, Griffin Wheatley is still watching from the sides. Tail still can't get himself back into pit lane. Anyways, Cal Gibbons is still stuck behind Kayumov, and just wanted to give you guys a rundown on the drivers from 6th to 10th. Mikolev is Salaman is actually in 6th. Mikolev is in 7th. Fumi 8th. Miyamoto 9th, and Allgore rounds out the top 10.
It seems that there is just still no Hololux member in the top 10.
But right now, looking into where they started, they've been pretty okay at the moment. At least they managed to score points. But obviously, 3 of the 5 Hololux cars have yet to score points. But then again, this season is their first season, and they're fighting against grizzly veterans, so that may attribute to something, but yeah, not looking good for them.
Yeah, Hololux, they're more focused on running the company than racing, apparently.
Well, in a certain case, yes, but also there's also the lack of experience. Usually in your first season, there's got to be a lot of cleaning out. But once you get to the hang of the rhythm, then you get yourself to a position of improvement. And right now, speaking of improvement, John Lee hasn't been improving on his lap times. Their lap times have stagnated. It's now still at 3.6 seconds. He's actually slower than Shazren Redza on the previous lap.
Alright, so it's basically now stalemate, except maybe for the middle, because of course the middle is in a total all-out war.
And Fumi is actually trying to defend against Isekaiji Mikolev there. Mikolev is going to try to find a way past Fumi, the current defending Hololive GT3 Japan Series champion. Fellow Gen Zero cars battling side by side against one another. Mikolev gets himself back up to 7th place, but not before Fumi puts a challenge. But I didn't think that's enough. Mikolev gets up to 7th place.
Yeah, there's no recovering from that. Mikolev has managed to jump up to 7th place, a win for Sakura Miko. And if they're lucky, they might be able to catch up to Solomon and get 6th.
And which actually, I also wanted to mention to you, it's speaks volumes that the best Nissan is currently in 7th place. And now under pressure from Makoto Miyamoto, so actually no, Fumi's now dropped down to 9th place. Really says something when you are racing in a track that doesn't suit the car.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a problem.
Anyways, Fumi and Oliver side by side for position. That's gonna further compound issues for Fumi, as he really wants to try to score as much points as possible to try to steal away the prospects of, how do we say this? Oh, and there's a bit of a door banging. Fumi has the inside line coming into turn 9, so Fumi manages to defend.
It seems Fumi has definitely lost. Fumi and Algor have lost their pace significantly. They were up in like 1s and 2s and 3s and everything, and they've just fallen from grace apparently.
A bit fallen from grace, but I hope that this is just for one race, because the next race where they're going to be racing, and I'm just going to need to confirm the schedule soon, but we'll talk about that later. Anyways, there's also going to be round 3 of the season at Motegi. That will play host to round 3 of the Japan series on July. And actually, I wanted to give you guys a bit of a trivia. Look at the 46 car by Kamen Everybody. You can see here on the side of the car, you know what that logo is.
No.
Okay, just wanted to change the camera angles to see if we can get the image of the doors. But okay, it's not possible. So let's just tell you this. It's the logo of the 5th Gen's live concert, Twinkle for You, which will be hosted on early July. So they're doing their best to promote the live coming soon.
Yippee!
Oh yeah, anyways, just wanted to check back. 13 laps to go here in the Tsukuba for the Tsukuba 400, and Cal Gibbons is still pretty much in command. 57.081 for him. And right now he's looking pretty unstoppable from the start.
Yeah, just overall speed ran the entire track, pitted really late, didn't get punished for it, kept his lead.
Which actually played in his favor, and just wanted to check back. Currently, all the drivers from 12 on back are currently a lap down, and another few drivers are 2 laps down. Particularly the Hololive cars have yet to score points. So right now, Bauer scores a 58, and Shazren Redza 57. And Ryuji Kazuki still in 2nd place, so it's still going to be a Lexus podium lockout. Who spun at the back? Here is the driver spun at the back. That is Gruffin Wheatley, who has spun at the exit of turn 11 here in Tsukuba. We're still basically having a yellow flag. I think there's even more of a yellow flag at the moment, because we haven't really seen that much here. So I think there's another driver spinning. But right now, just wanted to check back on the available drivers at the moment. No driver has spun other than Ruffin Wheatley, but let's take a look at Daniel Bauer.
Daniel Bauer has managing to put up a fight against Kaczynski, I believe. Currently side by side, and I believe Bauer does have that slight advantage, but Riolu is probably going to be a giant pain in this offensive maneuver, while Shazren Redza kind of watches in the shadows, ready to find an opportune moment to strike.
And right now they're really caught themselves back out against Riolu. Kaczynski's gonna try his best to clear Riolu. The pace is now definitely gone for Riolu, but in terms of the battle against Kyle Gibbons, I think it's too late for them to charge, because look at the gap. The only way Gibbons can probably lose this race is if he crashes out, and I don't think it's likely. And right now, Kaczynski manages to clear the lap car of Riolu, and it's now it's pretty much 2nd place settled. It's now gone down. It's now come down to the final podium position on who gets to steal 3rd place.
The lap cars really did just they just helped. It was like a coordinated back, like, you're gonna block this car, I'm gonna block this car. It was a absolutely stunning display of defense from the lapped cars.
Anyways, looking into Ryu still holding up Daniel Bauer here, and now John B is looking to find a way into the guys inside the top 5. Looking at the gaps here, the gap's now closed down to 2.2 seconds, and for Christoph Salomon, he is also caught up into the mix as well for the battle for 5th place.
Yeah, Team Salomon is finally starting to catch up to Mead, and Mead is starting to catch up to Shazren Redza. So this is like 4th through 6th, I think.
So anyways, Bauer still stuck behind the lap car Ryu, and Shazren Redza still trying to find a way past. John Mead currently in 4th place, wanting to provide a challenge, and you can see here Bauer actually tried to go around the outside against Liu, but it's not going to be enough. Shazren Redza might actually be able to pounce.
Yeah, potentially. Speaking of pouncing, it seems Miyamoto managed to make a pounce against Mikolev, and it does seem like a somewhat equal exchange, except Mikolev did have that inside line, but it does switch, and I think there's a little bit of door hugging there, but barely any contact, still side by side.
And it seems Mikolev. Yeah.
Ooh, that is. It seems Shazren Redza did manage to finally catch up, but Mead is quite close behind as well as Salomon, who is only 0.325 seconds away.
So we're gonna be paying attention to the battles here inside between 3rd and 6th place. You can see here Daniel Ball tries to get into the outside of Ryu, but the pace is just not there for him to go side by side, and that's gonna open the door for Shazren Redza to try to pounce. Oh, and there's actually another yellow flag situation here. I'm not sure if this is for Griffin Wheatley or someone else. And right now, I don't think there is a yellow flag situation against anyone other than Griffin Wheatley. And now Salomon actually manages to steal 5th place from me.
Salomon has just been showing absolute. How many? I think he's gone up like 7 places so far.
7 places so far. Actually, just want to check back onto the charts here right now. It's actually 6 places if we actually count Raiji Kaczynski, because remember Raiji Kaczynski has not been properly credited inside the timing here at the moment. And right now, Salomon is really showing himself why he is a force to be reckoned with, and why the ASCII Honda is a force to be reckoned with. And now Shazren Redza actually also manages to clear the lap car Ryu. So the battle for 3rd place have actually been done and dusted, unless Shazren Redza can pile in on the pressure against Daniel Bauer. And now the ASCII and Hachima Hondas are battling side by side once again.
Overall, just it's not side by side, but it does seem like an attack will be launched pretty soon. In Feat of Attacks, Olgor has launched an attack on Mikolev, finally reclaiming 7th place, somewhat close to what they were originally at before they pitted, sadly.
And so Callum Gibbons still stuck behind Seri Kayama. The gap has now opened up to 42.8 seconds. Both Bao Kaczynski and Shazren Redza have closed the gap to how do we say this? Callum Gibbons. Kaczynski only 30 seconds back. Daniel Bauer has been 42 seconds back. Shazren Redza is now 48 seconds back. Or was that 45 seconds back? So anyways, Fumi and Mikolev battling side by side. Once again, Mikolev is now falling down like a rock. Mikolev is now inside the top, is now in 10th place. And as you can see, more battle side by side for the battle for what should be 5th place.
Yeah, it seems Mead and Miyamoto were fighting around. Seems Mead is starting to lose touch a little bit. I am noticing his time is starting to slip compared to his quote-unquote neighbors, so that's going to be a problem for Mead.
Anyways, let's talk about a few other things as well while we're at it. Cal Gibbons definitely controlling this race. I gotta give props to Crystal Salomon, gaining a lot of positions, showing to everyone why he's a force to be reckoned with in that ASCII Honda NSX. Definitely, I think Salomon is the man of the race so far.
carrying the legacy of Andrew Takosura.
Yeah, correct. And now Mikolev and Olgor battling side by side again for 8th place. Olgor has the inside line, but which will shift over into the outside, which means that likely or not, Mikolev might be able to actually defend, but Olgor is going to put up a good fight here. We are now coming into the final 4 laps of this race to decide who is the winner of the Split A race of the Tsukuba 400.
It seems, well, that answer is pretty obvious. It's Gibbons, unless, of course, he crashes out. But that won't happen yet anyway.
Anyways, Miyamoto against Salmoman for basically 5th place here. We just want to give you a rundown. Kaczynski is in 2nd, Bauer 3rd, Shazren Redza 4th, and now there's another battle between Fumi and Mikolev once again for 9th place. Fumi is ahead, but not for long. Mikolev is gonna pounce.
Yeah, Mikolev managing to pounce on Fumi and actively try to get ahead. It's around neck and neck right now, but Mikolev does have that slight advantage. Yeah, it seems Mikolev has managed to pass Fumi. Fumi kind of falling down like a rock, to say the least.
Anyways, Rem Olgor actually completes his comeback inside the top 7 positions here after pitting and being stuck behind traffic. We are now coming into the final 3 laps of this race. Mikolev and me battling side by side once again. It's Mikolev now who steals 8th place.
Unless Mead is, I'm noticing Mead's time. Mead starts clocking in around a minute per lap, which isn't looking very good, and it seems Fumi and Mead are duking it out right now, which it's around side by side, which I do believe Fumi does have a slight speed advantage, but it seems Mead actually managed to defend his 9th place spot.
Which is cool, because right now looking at Callum Gibbons here, oh, Salomon, oh, Miyamoto, I think they all got collected. Oh, now Gruffin Wheatley's back! Gruffin Wheatley's back, and that's gonna cause a lot of problems at the back.
Huh?
Somehow, with divine intervention, Gruffin Wheatley gets his car back up to speed, and now Gruffin Wheatley gets his car has been smoking. Well, his car hasn't been really smoking, and now that's gonna throw an even bigger spanner in the works. And as you can see, multiple cars have already cleared Wheatley, but some cars hadn't. And now Cal Gibbons, crossing into the final lap of this race, is gonna have his race completely undone.
21-minute lap might be left.
Ouch! In that case, what a chaotic final lap we're gonna be seeing here at the moment. And right now, with Gruffin Wheatley back into the mix after actually minutes of waiting, Wheatley just somehow gets himself back up, and that I think have caused a massive switch up as Ribas steals 13th place from Croatia. Well, let's take a look at Callum Gibbons, leading the qualifying standings, got pole position, led the most laps out of anyone so far, led almost all the laps so far. I think this is Callum Gibbons' most dominant win in Hololive GT3 that we have seen so far. 33 seconds the gap between himself and Daniel Bauer, lapping like half the field, showing the world that he has the high spec capabilities in this race, just like Roboco. And with that, Callum Gibbons wins the Split A race of the Tsukuba 400.
Yay! And now we're finished, by the way.
Finally having this race settled, Raja Kaczynski manages to hang on to 2nd place by a whim, and I can't really remember where Raja Kaczynski started, but I think he started inside the top half of the standings. So great run for him to get himself for 2nd place, because that's Kaczynski's race over. And also for Daniel Bauer, he finishes inside 3rd place. For the 2nd race in a row, Shazren Redza has been beat by both Daniel Bauer and Callum Gibbons. So a bit of a blow, but it's racing, it happens. And meanwhile, the battle for the final spots here is about to be settled as well, with Mikolev and Ri Liu, the last drivers to cross the line.
Well, that was certainly interesting.
And with that out of the way, that race has been properly settled. Let's go into the pits to see the race results who had predicted this result coming into this race? So let's take a look into the race results once again. Introducing a race winner, Gibbens for Roboco, winning this race by a good margin for Roboco. Raji Kaczynski manages to finish second for Yusuke Choco, and Daniel Bauer finishes third for Yozora Mel. Choco Mel 2-3 and a Lexus podium lockout. So amazing run for the Lexus teams for them actually, and for Shazren Redza finishing fourth is okay given that he has finished third previously. So he's still a championship contender, but he just needs to really show in the final two races. Christian Stallman shows to us why he is a force to be reckoned with in that ASCII Honda. He finishes fifth for ASCII. Miyamoto finishes sixth for Watame. A good comeback from the Formula Hololive race last week, where he finished outside the points. Rem Olgo has shown glimpses of pace in the Subaru car in 7th place. For Subaru, Mikola finishes 8th for Sakuramiko. John Mee finishes 9th for Akai Hato, and Michael Turner, despite starting on the bottom half of the field, manages to get himself into 10th place. Fumi finally gets his points tally underway with an 11th place finish, although he's still a long way to go to try to defend his championship. Kayumov 12th place for Lapis Darkness. Kaminari Riba finishes 13th for Omar Polka, while Suardo finishes 14th for Shiranui Flair, and Robo Karuisha for rounding out the points finishers in 15th place for Takane Louis. And for the guys who have finished outside the points, another poor showing for Holux, and Zeke Wimberly for Hakui Koyuri, Ryu for Sakamata Chloe, and Griffin Wheatley for Sakazama Iroha. Basically, the only DNF, being the only guys who have finished outside the points. We actually thought Griffin Wheatley was going to DNF, but that didn't accrue, and that didn't happen. So Z, coming into this replay session, I want to hear your thoughts.
The bottom four were Holux, and then of course there's Lapras that actually did somewhat okay in the race. So
let's take a
yay.
look. Yes, yay indeed. So we're gonna need to take a look into Griffin Wheatley first, because we want to know where in the hell did Griffin Wheatley actually spine out. So let's take a look at this part. So let's take a look into this replay session to see what has actually happened to Griffin. So here's Griffin battling against Wallace Arto. I'll let you try to see what happens in the rest.
Well, it's side by side right now, and then Zeke Wimberly is kind of hounding, really like edging, and it seems that it seems Wimberly literally pushed Wheatley to their limits. Okay.
But it happens, but to happen to your teammate, it's just, I find it funny, because look at this replay. Let's look at this replay.
You do what you gotta do.
Well, if it wins him in position, that's bad, but they're racing outside the points anyway, so I think it was mostly just a racing incident coming into this one, so no penalty for ZW at this rate. So with that out of the way, we're gonna be finally showing you the championship standings after Tsukuba, and with that, let's take a look into the rundown on who finishes ahead and the standings. And it's definitely quite close inside the top two, because looking into the standings here, Callan Gibbons 375 points in both Hololive GT3 and Formula Hololive. An absolute dominant run for him. Daniel Bauer finishes third finishes a very decent third in this race after winning at Fuji. So he manages to have only a 25 point gap between Daniel Bauer. But for Shazren Redza, the gap has opened up to 95 points between Shazren Redza and Callan Gibbons. Raji Kaczynski and Isakaiji Mikolev showing still, now Raji Kaczynski is inside the top 4 now with his position. That surprises us all. And as we take a look into 6 and 10, I want to hear your thoughts.
For 6 and 10?
Yeah.
Looking around.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna need to. But yeah, I'm gonna. I think you can see the screen, right?
Yeah. Looking at 6 through 10. I believe I was looking at the top 4 earlier. Rim Olgor managed to hold on. surprisingly well for the abysmal race that they had last time. And then for 10th John, wait, hold on, am I reading this right?
Meat is in 9th.
Yeah, Meat is in 9th. And then Michael Turner, although they had an start earlier in the race, they just managed to slow down afterward and not get as good of a position that I think that they could have gotten.
But yeah, it happens. Anyways, coming into the rest of the standings here, it's no surprise that the Nissans have absolutely been struggling so far. The best Nissan currently in the field is Wallen Suharto in his Nissan, just 4 points ahead of Hofumi in the Tokinosora Nissan. Surikayo Moth manages to get herself 80 points total throughout 2 races. And you can see here, none of the Nissans are inside the top 10. So looking into the standings here, well, we'll be updating you of the point standings coming into tonight, but we'll have to wait soon. So with that out of the way, interesting to see that the championship lead is still very close up at the front, just not the way some people would have expected. But with that out of the way, we're gonna end the stream right here, and we hope you tune into the Split B race at Tsukuba for tomorrow. And with that out of the way, I'm Shazren Redza. Alongside me is Ezekiel in the commentary booth, and you'll be watching the 2023 Hololive GT3 Japan Series Round 2 at Tsukuba.